Hi everybody, welcome to this video. My name is Jens Pateu, and today I want to talk about why astrology works. And I think it's quite an interesting discussion because astrology obviously works. I mean, for me personally, I've had so many confirmations from astrology, and my wife is an astrologer, Meg. You can check her out on her channel, Meg Moonbeam. The things I've seen, experienced myself, the things I've heard through Meg, it's just absolutely a confirmation that astrology is a real thing. And I want to flesh this out a little bit, why it actually works. And I want to talk about, the scientific versus the metaphysical perspective. And I will start with the scientific perspective. And the scientific perspective is actually, basically the scientific perspective says that astrology doesn't work.
No, it's not real.
It considers astrology, woo-woo, whack, all these names the skeptics give to these alternative metaphysical fields of study of spiritual science. And if you look at it from a scientific perspective, indeed, there is no reason why astrology would work anyway. Because you could say, why does it matter that a person is born on that date when the moon is in that sign or the planets are in that sign? There is no interconnected web of what effect this could have on a person being born, coming into this world at that moment, that these energies would have, these supposed energies of those planets, those heavenly placements, would have an effect on that person. So like, for example, the moon, of course, we know the moon is closest to the earth and it has an effect on the earth. I mean, the moon is quite, we have quite a big moon actually in the solar system. A lot of planets have lots smaller moons in comparison to their own size than the earth has. So the moon has a big effect on us gravitationally, for example. I mean, we have tides because the moon stretches the water around the earth into an ellipsoid and the earth turns in that ellipsoid 2 times a day. So that's why 2 times a day we have high tide and low tide in some places on the planet, which I lived at the coast and I was a lifeguard. When I was younger, I saw the tides coming into time because of the moon going through that ellipsoid, because the ellipsoid is, an ellipsoid is like basically a bit like a rugby ball. So there's a low and a high in different places. The low is in this place and the high is in the elongated place. So it makes sense. So the moon has a big effect, and the moon also has an effect on the psyche of the people. And you could say, scientists could say, okay, it's because of the gravitational pull somehow. They can try to explain it somehow, because the moon as I said, has a great gravitational pull. And it's obvious that the moon has an effect on us because there's scientific studies that show that when, there's a full moon, there's more crime, for example. People in police departments know when it's a full moon, they can expect more, craziness, more crime, more chaos. The moon has a huge effect on life on the planet, and science kind of can explain this a little bit, maybe by the gravitational pull in some way, but that's the only way they can explain it. And of course that wouldn't work for the outer planets, because the outer planets have much less gravitational pull. For example, a big planet like Jupiter has some gravitational pull on the Earth, but that's also, of course, negligible to the gravitational influence of the moon. So science really has no way of explaining why astrology works. That's the main key of it. They have no framework to explain it, and that's why they decide to put it in the department of, the quack jobs, the whack jobs, the woo-woo, the crazy guys, the crazy theories. So basically science doesn't have a clue, and that's why they say, oh, it's not real. But it's very real. And as I said, I've had confirmation of that myself, because when I looked at my own chart and I made a mistake in my birth time and I had a different ascendant than what my ascendant is, and I said, this doesn't resonate with me, but I accepted it. And then I found out my true birth time, and I found out my true ascendant, and it resonated much more with me. So even my own intuitive feeling about myself having a different ascendant that really didn't fit me based on my real birth time kind of confirmed to me that, astrology is real. So if we look at it from the metaphysical perspective, it is a much different story. And this is where we get to the true reality of why astrology works. And it's because we live in a universe of consciousness. That is the main gist of it. And I will explain this further. We live in a universe of consciousness. Basically, everything in the universe is conscious. There is nothing that is not conscious. The universe is born from consciousnness. As these old Indian, and all these old traditions say, there is a divine intelligence in the universe. There is an interconnected web in the universe, and the universe is about consciousness. And consciousness speaks the language of symbols. When you have dreams, for example, they speak the language of symbols. And everything in the universe is interconnected. And we're living in a universe that is divinely orchestrated. Now I'm hearing the skeptics say, oh, you can't prove that. Well, just look at nature, how incredible it is. I mean, you can talk for hours about how nature is so incredible, how there's truly a design in nature. And I don't believe in the evolution theory at all. That's also one of the big parts where I speak about. Because of this web of interconnectedness, and there is a divine intelligence in the universe, these planets, like the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, they are conscious entities, conscious energies in and of themselves. They have a physical manifestation. The planet Saturn, the Earth, Gaia, Mother Earth, the Sun, but they are energy, they are consciousness. So they are connected to the solar system, connected to the Sun. And all the planets are connected to the solar system and connected to each other. So if you're born on a planet, in this case on planet Earth, you will, when the moment you come out of the womb, the moment you come into this third dimension, that's the moment that you really, when you come out of your mother, right? When you get born, that's when you really manifest in this dimension. And that's when you get this energy imprint. So in my opinion, astrology is an imprint, is an influence. And I think it has to do with the soul too, because the soul chooses when it gets born, actually. I truly believe that the soul has a saying when the baby gets born. I truly believe that, because the soul, it's also part of the soul planning, in my opinion. So there might also be, connections that go two-way between the astrology and the soul, but it's also kind of an imprint, right? You get when you get born. So this is why this works, because these planets are conscious entities, conscious energy. Just as the Earth is a living being, so the planet Saturn is a living being. So the planet Jupiter, the planet Pluto is a living being. And where they are based on where the Earth is in relationship to the universe, it gives a certain energetic flavor to the person that is born. It impregnates you with these energies. So that's why it works, because everything is interconnected beyond what we can imagine with our third dimensional thinking or scientific third dimensional thinking. So that is why astrology works, because we live in a conscious universe, and consciousness speaks the language of symbolism. That's why if your moon is in Sagittarius, you have a different emotional, flavor than somebody with moon in Gemini, for example. Because consciousness speaks the language of symbols, and everything we see, it's not just purely physical. It's laced with meaning. A universe of consciousness is a universe laced with meaning. That's why astrology works. There is meaning, there is substance to everything. Everything has a reason. Everything is interconnected. Everything has meaning. So that is why astrology works. You come into this dimension not in a materialistic world that is indifferent to you, like, the scientists say, or the skeptics say, no, or the nihilists say. No, you come into your universe laced with meaning, laced with symbolism, laced with conscious energy of planet Earth, of the planet Saturn, of the planet Jupiter, of the planet Pluto, laced with symbolism, laced with consciousness, where everything is truly connected together. And that is why astrology works. It's something to ponder, to really sit down and ponder about, because we don't think a lot about these things. We just, assume, oh yeah, I'm Sun Sagittarius and my moon is in Leo and stuff like that. But we have to ponder this, how deep this is and how deep this goes. So that is why astrology works. Thanks everybody for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to share and like, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you on the next video. Bye bye.